Hello, everybody. Jim Malone coming to you live on Dallas Trading Floor. Well, it is Wednesday. The market is still kind of just, I don't know. It's a tough one to trade. We're down a little bit after hours. The indexes are kind of hanging out there. Apple's down, and we have some issues, but so it's still not a good time to come into the market. We're still in a market. We're still in a marketing correction, so you got to be careful. You got to stay mostly in cash right now, and it's just one of those things. So let's get in. Without further ado, let's get into some of the slides and your questions, of course, and that is we'll go from there. So here we go. Um, Basically Apple is down, the Dow Jones dipping a little bit for inflation, but there is sort of a ray of hope here, and that is that AMD is looking very, 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 very good. It's up $4.16 today. I didn't buy it today, but I'm starting to really, really like it, and I'm going to be watching this. I'm going to be watching this one very, very closely. It's basically, there's an early entry on it at 107.95. So it closed. It's up a little bit. Beyond that, it's still in the buy zone. It's got a double bottom pattern. AMD is a tricky stock to do, but this is probably, if you want to move in to a stock, this one, AMD, might be the right time now. This is the 13th of October. So tomorrow, if we can, if this, if we can get it to kind of hang in there, I'm probably going to buy this with a buy stop limit order, probably at about 109.10. But I'll try to kind of explain what that is. As when it opens tomorrow, it probably will surge up. So we want to do a buy stop limit order on this one, possibly at about 109.10. I'm saying, or maybe 109.20, in that area. But that this is one that I do think that this is an opportunity. This is an early entry point, so I wouldn't go in with any more than about a half a position here. But this one is looking very good. It's right up to it's right up to it's beyond the 107.95 early entry. Just kind of wanted to give you an idea of kind of what's going on in the market. I mean, we had another negative reversal today, so just a tough one. Also, another one that you want to put up on your list is Boyd Gaming, BYD. I do also have MGM, which is doing very, very well right now. It seems like those stocks in the sort of the gaming area that is primarily domestic, those ones seem to be doing fairly well. So, also another one we got to look at is Denbury, DEN. I don't think that's at a buy point, unfortunately. Oil company. So inflation fears equals oil, and that's kind of where we are. EOG Resources, of course, everybody knows I have that. That's one of the oil companies. It's up just a slightly, almost 1%, but not quite. It's not that expensive a stock. Volume is down on that one. For some reason, we're seeing a really nice surge in the price on Salesforce CRM. I've been in this one a few days. I'm probably going to continue. I may add to this. It's doing fairly well. Microsoft is up today. Again, that's a very safe tech stock. I'm not really kind of vanilla. Good buy point on it, though. We're still in a buy zone for Microsoft. Robert Half down a little bit, but still pretty much holding in there. But the volumes are down on these stocks, so this isn't really a lot of conviction. You got to look at those volumes. The GBTC is up again today, basically even volume, up about $5. This is the play on Bitcoin. And what this does is the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust holds about 4% of the world's Bitcoin. Down a little bit on MGM today, but not much. And down a little bit on Matson, which is, of course, I think one of the best shipping stocks. Now, I've raised my stop loss on Matson up to about 82, I believe. Yeah, about 82. on my stop loss on that. But it seems to be holding in there. This is the stocks that I currently own. Just want to show you the option, the kind of the results of the option trade. I still haven't figured out what to do with my bull put spread on Domino's. Domino's was off a little bit today, and it's kind of in the same place that it's been. I'm in I'm in a loss position, so I probably am going to move my spread down and out a little bit. Haven't made a decision on that, but believe me, if you watch this channel, you'll be the first to know on that. Also want to show you on the DuPont trade. This is starting to look better. DuPont's starting to fall, and then as it falls, of course, it will come into the money. So definitely, we're currently in the red on this one, but it's falling, and this is, of course, a bear put spread. So with the bear put spread, we get that advantage when it moves lower. So basically, that's kind of the wrap here. But let's take a look at the questions. Thank you very much for holding on, and hopefully I can give you some good stuff to go by today. This is a tough one. This is a tough market to trade. It's not really doing anything, kind of going sideways. These are some of the harder markets to trade. So let's look at Tesla first, and see kind of where that's at. So let me just kind of switch over here, bring that up. There we go. And this is the NASDAQ composite, of course, and it's still below that 40-day line. So not looking as good as I'd like it to. That's for sure. Let's take a look at Tesla. Tesla is moved above that 800 buy point, and that is looking very, very good. Now, I don't have the stock currently, but this is probably going to be where I would be making, probably this is a good candidate for a bull call spread, because we're moving up to that buy point, and it's kind of an orderly move up here. I expect we'll probably be pulled back a little bit tomorrow, but the trend is right. We're over that very, very critical $800 level, and I think as it moves higher, Tesla becomes more and more attractive. It looks as if the volume, again, it's not up a lot, only at 26 cents, but we're over that 800 level. It's a very big psychological level, and I want to show you the weekly chart on that, just to kind of give you an idea. We're in this consolidation range here, and basically, the buy point in this consolidation range is about $900, $940. Yeah, that's what the computer is saying. But basically, the buy point is 900. So here's what I think. We could start moving in to Tesla early here. I think it's going to move up to the buy point or very close to that. So at least in the next month or so, I think we have a very high likelihood that we're going to go from about this 810 level on up to maybe about 890 or so before it hits resistance. So that might make a good potential spread trade for a call spread, a bull call spread. So I don't have one ready yet, but I will. I'm going to put bull call spread on Tesla. And of course, if you're on the action trade alerts, just want to kind of put it out there for everyone. If you're out on the action trade alerts, it's super easy. Just go to www.dallastradingfloor.com and sign up for the action trade alerts. And that's just first and last name and a way to get in touch with you. And then we'll be putting out probably a bull call spread. I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to crunch the numbers and do a bull call spread on Tesla. So for everyone that is interested in that, of course, we'll be able to show that. All right, let's look at VVV from Polly. Thank you very much. VVV. And that is, okay, there we go. VVV. Valvoline. I remember Valvoline because I had an old Dodge. Actually, it was a Plymouth Valiant that needed a ring job, and Valvoline was my friend at one time. If you've ever seen that. Yeah, looking very, very good, Polly. On the weekly chart, we're right in the buy zone. This is a strong area. Chemical T Specialties, again, 29 out of 197. This is definitely an improving area of the market. on the fundamentals, let's kind of look at the fundamentals here a little bit. On the fundamentals, 53% up in sales in a quarter. That's really good quarter-over-quarter growth, especially for a mature company like Valvoline. But the key here is look at that 112% up in profits. So somebody is putting their stuff in their car or their trucks because Valvoline seems to be doing really well. Of course, they do have partially an oil play here too. So you got to realize that, with the price of oil going up, like everything in the oil sector, definitely, looking pretty good on that. This is 100% checklist. I want to kind of show you this. This is on the William O'Neill checklist, 100%. So this is extremely good. So you could buy this one right now. I think it's looking very, very good. This is not a watch list stock. This is a winner. So I think you could do a half position here very, very easily. Maybe even a full position, but come up, start with a half, and then possibly if you show some more strength, I'll buy another half. Now, what do I mean by half position? Well, typically in most portfolios, a half position is about 10 to 12%. Basically, if you take your portfolio, divide it by 8, that's going to give you 8 full positions. So let's say your portfolio is worth, say, $80,000. A full position would be $10,000 worth of Valvoline. That's it for instance. So I would recommend possibly going in with a half position. So if you had an $8,000 portfolio, a half position would be $500 basically of Valvoline. So that's kind of the way that looks as well. All right. So and it's a well-priced stock, $35, huge company. VVV Bible half position, absolutely. I think so. I think Valvoline this is a good looking chart and definitely viable. And this is a good place to come into it. Let's look at the daily chart just to make sure that I'm not completely all wet here. Yeah, look at this. We've moved above the 34.65 buy point, which is looking good. And this is 2 days worth. So we gapped up yesterday, but it held the gap up. And that's key in this market. You got to be a little bit more careful in this market. There was a breakout yesterday, and then it held the breakout. So this is kind of where you could probably start piling in. It's a cup base, second stage, which is, still fairly good. By the way, the lower the stage, the better. So a cup base, stage 2, pivot 34.65. Currently, after hours trading for 35.32. So this is definitely a viable stock. I would do a half position here. So that's looking very good, and I really appreciate this, Paulie. That's a good call because that's a very, very good call on that on Valvoline. It's definitely moving. It's definitely moving in the right area. So thank you very, very much for that, Paulie. Appreciate it. Let's look at Google, and of course, this is the symbol for Alphabet. That's the name of the parent company, GOOGL. So let's look at that right now. And that's, of course, Alphabet. Yeah, there we go. And let's put that chart up here so that we can see it. And let me just kind of zoom in on it here a little bit. There, we can see it. I'm just trying to move it over. Yeah. So sometimes a little bit tough because it's, at the top. It's at the top here. It does look like we got some support at the 10-day line, which is good because the 10-day line is where you want to see support. So that's at least stronger. Now, it's in this consolidation. As you can see, it's a flat-based consolidation, stage 3. By the way, the higher the stage level typically on these consolidations, the weaker the move. So this is not the greatest the greatest basing pattern, but it's not bad. I would be a little bit careful about buying it here just because it looks like it's getting some support at the 10-day line, but it's still below the 21-day line. Now, ideally for an entry, you want it above the 21-day line, and you want it, right at or above the 10-day line. And of course, these are reversed, as you can see. The 10-day line is below the 21-day line, is below the 40-day line. So right now, relative to the S&P 500, and as you can see, this black line, this stock is is losing strength against the S&P 500 right now. So here's the thing with Google right now. It's not bad, but I wouldn't buy it at this location. I just would be very, very careful with this. So I would watch this one now. I wouldn't buy it just because of the where it's, this is, I don't think the greatest entry. So right now I would watch this one. This may be a reversal, but it looks like it's sort of failing. So I would be careful with this one right now. And I probably would not, I would not be a buyer here at this level. I like the stock, of course. Alphabet is one of the great stocks of all time, but I don't think this is necessarily the best entry for Alphabet. I just don't think it is. All right. Well, thank you very much for taking a look on TikTok. I'm going to get to you. By the way, if you want to see all the charts that I'm showing on TikTok, it's very easy to do. Just go to bit.ly/DTF397. Or if you can't remember that, just go to my profile, click on the link that says Beacons, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and this is being simulcast on YouTube at youtube.com/IntelliStrandingForce. So if you don't see the charts, it's not you, it's me. You need to go to the feed, the live feed for YouTube, and that's available at this address here. So thank you very much. Let's take some questions from YouTube, from TikTok. Let's see. Why is Apple down? Good question. If I knew all the answers, boy, I would be a lot richer than I am. But the reason that Apple is down, I think, is just overall uncertainty in the market. I got rid of my Apple. I got shaken out of the Apple, and I have not been back since. It's just, it's Apple is doing. See, there was my stop loss, basically at 140. And then I've been out ever since. I mean, I was in earlier in the year. I did the 4-for-1 split last year, but this has just not been handling well. It bounced. Apple did bounce, as you can see on the bottom of this consolidation here on this flat base, this third stage flat base. The pivot's at 157, but you see, it just can't seem to get above this. It's a downward slide for them. So, will it hold here? No, I don't know. It may go lower. Earnings are in 15 days. I think for now, basically what you got to do with Apple, and this is really, really tough. If you're down more than 7% on Apple, consider selling and waiting. But right now with Apple, it's just, it's just one of those things. And this is painful because it's been, Apple has been such a great stock for so long. But, I think you just got to, consider the phone. So if you're 7% down or more on Apple, consider closing your position because, it's just not worth it to, when Apple will come down, it probably is going to test the 200-day line. That's the black line here. And then if it bounces off that, then we could possibly get back in. But it's not worth giving up all your gain to wait for that. So it's better to sell now, get into cash, wait. This will bounce. I mean, Apple's not, it's not the end of the world for Apple, but right now we have a downward trend on Apple, at least on the daily chart. Let's look over the weekly chart. Yeah, we have a little downward trend, and it looks as if, I think it's gonna hold right here at the 200-day line here. But we're in a downward trend. There's no reason in giving it up. You see, I sold my position here at 148 and 148.60, 52.60, and you see we're already down from that. I'm waiting to come back in. As you can see, that's where I sold. I'm waiting to come back in, and then once it starts moving up, I'll buy it again and ride it up, and then I'll sell it again. It's a great stock, but the thing about Apple right now, you just gotta be careful because don't give up your gains. This is a tough market to trade. It's not going to be like, I don't think it's going to be like last year where we just had some rocket ships. That's just not going to be the case, unfortunately, right there, right now. Are you bullish on Bitcoin? Let's take a look at the GBTC. And as you know, this is how I typically trade Bitcoin because I'm in and out a lot. And the thing about trading Bitcoin directly is that can be very problematic when it comes to exchange fees and everything like that. The reason I like the GBTC, they own basically the GBTC has 4% of the world's Bitcoin, so it's a proxy. As you can see, this is where I bought the GBTC right as we were coming into this rally. Strong, with Bitcoin going over 55,000, the GBTC is gonna move as well. It's gonna move sympathetic to this, so we're definitely up from where not a lot. I bought in basically on the 6th at 42.57, and you can see there's some resistance right here. It went down and it's pulled back up. So I definitely think, at least in the short term, Bitcoin is probably going to go up, as well as the GBTC, the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. So I am bullish on Bitcoin, at least for right now. I mean, that could change absolutely, but I am bullish on it. A lot of people are using Bitcoin as an inflation hedge. I personally think oil is a better one, but Bitcoin can be for some people, an inflation hedge. One thing I would like to show you here, in terms of, if you're worried about inflation as I am, we're seeing a lot of inflation, and unfortunately, I'm old enough to remember real inflation way back, believe it or not, in the Carter administration, when I couldn't put gas in my, I had a Delta 88. Most people, Delta 88, I love that car. I could not afford to drive the thing around the block because it had a V8, and man, it was expensive. But I'm afraid the same thing is going to happen. I'm afraid that everybody that's got a V8 or a really nice car, man, you're going to be sitting it in the garage. They're going to be garage queens pretty soon, because I think gasoline's going above $5, which sucks. But anyways, that's my little my little rant on that. So let's look at the XLE, and this is the ETF that's the energy ETF. It's off a little bit today, but this is very indicative. This is kind of showing you sort of what's happening. As it's become more apparent that we're getting more inflation, as you can see, it's just been bouncing nicely, bounced off the 200-day line. It's moving higher, off a little bit today, but I do very much expect the energy sector to move higher, just because of where things are, unfortunately, right now, with everything, really, with everything, including the including the inflation situation, which I do think is going up. Contrary to popular belief, gold is not necessarily the best inflation hedge. It's a good hedge on the collapse of society. I agree with that. But I think oil, at least in the short term, is your better inflation hedge. And I definitely think you should look at the XLE because of that. Now, I don't own it, but I have owned it. I did sell it, take a little profit. I'll probably be back in it once it moves above the buy point. All right, so let's take a look. Thank you very much. Your thoughts on Plug Power? These questions are coming, by the way, from TikTok. So let's look at Plug and get an idea sort of what's going on there. The problem with this, and this is why I don't like to buy stocks that are trading below the 200-day line. This is the 200-day line here. This is the black line. So it has moved up, but, and there has been some buying, but I think this is not a time to be in Plug Power. I just don't. It's got a 56 checklist. I don't buy anything this low, and I just think it can do better. I think you can do better. There's a decreasing number of funds that are in it. So, I mean, yes, I think this was a good stock. I mean, I'm not saying it's the end of it. I mean, they definitely had good profits. Their sales are up 83%, but they're still losing money. And in this kind of environment, a negative cash flow, it's not the kiss of death, but it's just not really where you want to be. So be careful with Plug right now. Plug Power, I don't think it's where you want to be right now. It's just not the part of the market. Let's look at Affirm, AFRM. Now, this one has been doing fabulous. I wish I had gotten in on this one. I woulda, coulda, shoulda. Isn't that always it? Woulda, shoulda, coulda. I have missed so many boats in my time. It's not funny, but if you just get a few of them a year, you're doing good. You're doing good. This is a very nice. What I like about this one, Affirm, is that it's in a very good area. Another one that I think that's also interesting in this area is Lending Club LC, but I want to show you the chart for Affirm here, and we've got it's down a little bit after hours, but 146, so it's looking pretty good. It is an IPO, and on IPOs, Right now, this is probably the first time that we can really start looking at buying it. Here's the thing. This is a very typical of the way an IPO comes out. They'll come out and then all the insiders will sell it. It will move up, and then it will pull back as they tend to sell out their positions. Then the stock will be evaluated, and this is the evaluation period. And then it'll kind of come down, and then it'll find its real value, and then it'll start going up again. That's definitely what's happened here. We did have this gap up, and now we're starting to move. Now, the first time you can buy this is when it moves above about 137.98. Currently, it's at 145.98, so it's definitely above that, and it definitely looks like we could possibly start looking to do to move into the stock. I'm still a little bit leery, but it does have a good checklist, 78%. Here's one that I would recommend possibly looking at as well, besides a firm, and that is Lending Club LC, which I think is a little bit more mature. It's been out a little bit longer. It's not as IPO-y, if that's a word. I don't think it's a word, but looking at the daily chart, this is what I like. It's coming into, it's very close to its high here. 32.44 is where it's trading after hours. 33.30 is the all-time high, I believe. Let's take a look at the monthly to see. This hasn't been out. Oh, well, no, I'm sorry, I am wrong. So it definitely is coming back here. I just want to kind of see how long. Yeah, Lending Club has been out for a while. Boy, I didn't realize this. Been out since 2015. So it does look like it's finally getting traction. But I do like the idea of this company. What this company does basically is that they use AI to create credit scoring using social media and a lot of other inputs. And for some of the smaller accounts, some of the smaller accounts, this is a great way to go. This is a fairly crowded space. There's another company in here called Upstart, which is excellent. That's probably the leader is Upstart. I would say Lending Club is number two, but that's one of the ones you want to kind of look at. It's definitely been on my radar for a while, but Affirm also very good. Not at a place we could buy it though. I think with Affirm right now, you're going to have to just basically, and this is always tough. I want to watch this right now. I don't think I see an entry right now for Affirm, but that's just based on this market. This is a tough market to trade. I mean, we're not in a confirmed uptrend. We're not in a confirmed uptrend, and we're not even in an uptrend under pressure. We're in a market in correction. So that is not the best time to buy. So we want to buy. We want to be a little bit more risk averse at this point. It's just that's just the way the market is right now. Until we get a follow through day on one of the indexes, either the Dow, the Nasdaq, or the S&P, I think you got to be really careful about putting capital out here. Right now, it's a good time to be in capital preservation mode. All right, GDX auction has been very good to me. Thank you very much. And you moved GDX. Okay, thank you, Mark. Do appreciate that. Let's look at AMD. 112 calls. Let's see if that one makes sense. I might go with that, but I also might want to limit my risk a little bit just because we're in the market in correction. I do like that idea, by the way. I'm not poo-pooing that idea at all, but I do think that, let's take a look here and let me see if I can. What I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom out a little bit here. Let's just kind of take a look at this. Yeah. So there we go. Okay, so let me just kind of, let's kind of take a view from, about 20,000 feet on AMD, because I think it's really important. I think this is a really important stock, and hopefully it will. There we go. What I'm trying to do now is I'm pulling away my notation just so that we can kind of get a better look at. There we go. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm kind of pulling away the notation so we kind of get a 20,000 foot view. Okay, we did. If we're looking at the daily chart here, we definitely have a reversal. So this is an extremely good sign. There's been a reversal on this, so this is definitely something that we want to see. I'm going to put the alert on the. We definitely have a reversal. So as it came down here to the 21-day line, it got strength. It's moved above the 40-day line, and now we're seeing some good action on it. The question is, is there resistance at the question is, where's the next level of resistance? Well, I think the next resistance for AMD is right here at 114. That's where I think there's resistance. So a 112 call, I don't think you're going to have that much upside potential. It depends on when your expiration is. But looking at this, if you're out, let's say a month, I don't think there's going to be a lot of juice at the 112 level. I could be just completely wet on this, but I do think that if it moves above 114, that those 112 calls will be looking very good. The question is, can it move above 114? If it moves above 114, and let's say you have an expiration a month out or so, then then they might look good. Here's what I would do with a call. I would try to go out a little bit further, not just a month, not just a week. I'd probably try to go out to maybe the December expiration. That's kind of where I'd look to buy the call. To give it a little time for this to work, because I do think that it's not going to go straight up. We're going to correct back down, probably to the let me put the chart. We're going to probably correct back down to the 40-day line before it moves up higher. The key level here is this 114. Let me just zoom in on that a little bit so you can see it. There we go. Okay, so now you can kind of see what I'm talking about. All right. So here's the thing. This is going to be the next. This 114.49. That's where the next resistance is. So in order for the call to work, I think you got to give it a little bit more time. I definitely think we have sort of a reversal where it's pulled back and now it's starting to reverse higher. But I think you want to give it a little time. I try for, a little bit longer dated. I wouldn't buy a weekend or even a month, and I would probably try to go out, see if you can get a little bit more time, on it, possibly December. But that's not bad. That's not bad, but I want, you definitely need a little time on that. That's here's the thing on the AMD calls. Let's kind of look at the call activity just to see sort of what we're talking about in terms of options here. Well, it looks like, and these are the calls that I kind of recommend. You can see this volume is higher here, and there's open interest. You might want to look at the 105s if you can afford them. It's about $7. There's a lot of activity here. This might be very good. I'll try to put a call spread together on it, see kind of where the sweet spot is. But AMD call spread, and see what I can come up with there. I think this is going to potentially move higher, but we've got to be very careful because there is resistance at about 114. So that's a great. So to reiterate, if you're going to buy the calls, what I would do is buy them at buy them with a little bit longer expiration date on that. A little bit longer. Hello, sir. What can you see about net? Of course, this is Cloudflare. I think everyone likes this one. I was down in Austin this summer. Yeah, Cloudflare. I was down in Austin. Well, look at this. This is a good chart. Unfortunately, there's nowhere to buy it. Oh, this is so frustrating because this is a very nice chart. Really, the buy point here on the consolidation is 95.77 on first stage consolidation, that's a very strong one. As you can see, it's just gone up from there and it hasn't looked back. So sometimes when these if you were to buy Cloudflare in early June, I think you would have done extremely well. I knew about this one and I didn't do it. I should have, but it's pulling. It did pull back a little bit, and now it's tested, and so I think it's probably going up from here. But here's the problem with the chart on this, and I don't want to be a negative Nelly, but right now it's extended, and this is not a good place to get in. You want to wait for the next base pattern. Unfortunately, the next base pattern, it may be around the corner, but we got to wait a little bit. So right now the stock is extended. So you just have to watch this red right now. You got to wait for that next base to happen. And that's tough. I mean, that's tough. I'll be honest. That's definitely tough. All right. Well, thank you for that question. Very, very good. On Cloudflare net, CHPT, and this is charge point. And this is, if we get this probably will benefit if we get government subsidies for electric vehicles, but because the reconciliation bill has been tied up in Congress, I don't know. I wouldn't bet on it. Right now, this is downward trend for ChargePoint. It's well below the 200-day line. So my view of this right now is, you just got to avoid it right now. You just got to avoid this one for right now. It's just one of those things. We can also check in on a competitor, and of course that is Blink Charging. BLNK is the symbol for that. It's got a similar pattern, and as you can see, but it's coming right up, and it came right up to the reversal line, but it didn't reverse. This is also below the 200-day line, so same thing here with ChargePoint as ChargePoint. Blink Charging, ChargePoint. They're just you kind of have to avoid them right now. They're just not. It's just not at a place where we can buy them. All right. Green energy stock, fuel cell, plug power, technology down my profile. Well, here's the thing, and I want to be, and this is tough. This is tough. Um, you know, oil is going higher because of inflation, and unfortunately, solar power probably isn't going to do as well. It's just that's the way it is. It's funny. It's kind of inverse, but the Biden administration canceled a lot of pipeline stuff like that. It's pushing. This is all pushing inflation. This is pushing oil prices higher. So it's really perverse. I mean, under under Trump, we saw abundant natural resources, abundant oil, low inflation. Therefore, solar did well. It's an inverse. So right now, green is not the way to be. You don't want to be green because, and this is probably will get me banned, but you don't want to be green right now because those investments are not going to do as well in a high interest rate environment. And that's what it's going to look like. High inflation, and we're going to start to see interest rates go up as well. So I'd be very, very careful. Oil and natural gas are the cheapest forms of energy out there. That's why they can't kill them. It's just one of those things. And so therefore, I've moved into oil and gas investments. And the reason why is because with inflation, they will typically do better. Now, if inflation moderates, they'll pull right back. But right now, we're looking at probably over $100 a barrel oil, and that's probably going to happen probably sometime next year. So look for a lot of inflation. Solar, not as good as it's been, and possibly look at some of the oil and gas. Gas should be really, really good. What about Solar Edge? Again, solar is great when interest rates are low and there's no inflation, but that's not the case now. So I'd be really careful about Solar Edge. You might be able to make money in it, absolutely, but I would stick to the oils right now, the oils, because the oil and gases, that's where it's going to move better. GEO. Let's look at this. This is from TikTok. Thanks for tuning in on TikTok. GEO. And let's take a look there. And that's GeoGroup. Oh, it's a REIT. Okay. Now, in the REIT space, the one I like best, of course, is Innovative Industrial Properties. And that is a very interesting REIT. But I typically don't like REITs all that much, though they do pay nice dividends. So if they're going well. The thing about this one is, this is correctional facilities, this is jails. I just don't see the current administration in the United States has a whole lot of appetite for private jails. Be really careful about this one. I just be careful with this one. So I would avoid this one, just based on the sector that it's in. REITs are not bad, but I just don't think this is going to be, this is probably going to be the one for you. So I would avoid GEO right now. I would avoid GEO. If you're interested in the the REIT space, there's IIP, Innovative Industrial Properties. I believe that's it. Let's just see if I can. Let's see. Can't remember the symbol for this one. Excuse me. I can't remember the innovative. Can't remember the symbol for them. The innovative industrial properties. That's the REIT that probably is going to do the best, at least for right now. I'm not really a fan of REITs right now, to be honest. I'm not a fan of REITs. All right, let's look at Lowe's, L-O-W. And that's for L-O-W. And that is looking, it's looking like it's getting to the top of a consolidation zone, and there is a buy point at 215.22. So what would I say on this one? Well, what I would say on this one, let's look at the checklist first. Oops. And the checklist is fairly good, 67. This is my minimum. So I do like this, but here's some of the things that a little bit of red flags for me on this one, and that is that we have the retail wholesale building trade, 116 out of 197, not where I want to be. There is a buy point, and I'm kind of zooming in here a little bit on the chart. There is a buy point at 215.22. We're below that at 212.30, and we're moving up. So here's the thing: I would watch this as one. I probably wouldn't buy it right now. I don't think this area is really where I want to be right now. So basically, right now, I would basically, I'd watch this one, but I wouldn't buy it. I wouldn't buy this one. Wouldn't buy those right now, because I think that the real boom in terms of the pandemic, housing improvement boom, that was last year. I think as as we open up more, it's very likely that we've seen a lot of the gains that we're going to see in Home Depot and Lowe's. So that's kind of my take on it. I probably wouldn't. I'm not probably a buyer for Lowe's, especially not in a correcting market like we're in now. So I'd be real careful with Lowe's. All right, let's look at SMSI. SMSI. Don't know what that is. SMSI. Let's take a look. Oh, Smith Micro. Old Smith Micro. Many years ago, I used to live near Capitola and in Aptos area where the Smith Micro was founded. So kind of interesting. I knew some people that were over there. It's an old company, been around for a long time. Good software, but probably not. I probably would not be a buyer of this. It's below the 200-day line, so I'd be a little bit leery on this. I would be a little bit leery on it. It looks like we may have had a bounce. I mean, it possibly could move up, but I'm not as bullish on this one right now. So here's what I would do with Smith Micro. With Smith, I would probably be I'd probably just watch this one. I probably would not do anything other than that at this point, just because of the way that is. All right, got some more questions here. Good, thank you. If I did that, I have an AM. Oh, that's very good. Yeah. This is good, Mark. This is very, very good, Mark. Mark is comes out here a lot, and he's a good options trader. So I think that it's very worth taking a listen to kind of what he's saying. So I like this one. I like the 105, 107 November. I like this one. I like this one very much. This is good. This is good. This is kind of where you want to be. 105, 107. This is kind of where the action is. So yeah, definitely AMD looking very, very good. I think this is a real good suggestion from Mark. So thanks, Mark. Appreciate that. Let's see. Oh yeah, hey, definitely. Mark, love you on to come over on Discord. By the way, if you're interested in Discord, if you're interested in Discord, it is available. Just go to www.Dallas Trading Floor and click the button, and it's easy to join on that way. So thank you very, very much. That's a real good suggestion, Mark, by the way. Really, really good suggestion. Yeah, we need a great show. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. No, you're right on that. Very, very good. I think you're going to do very, very well on those options. And thank you very much for that input from Mark. Great stuff. Great stuff there. Let's look at FTX. FTX. And Federal Express. I wish I could. I wish I could be more positive. I like Federal Express. I've always liked Federal Express, but this is not a chart we want to be in right now. The air transport is not doing well. 139 out of 197. The action in the transports right now is in shipping. So I don't think you want this one. I think it's probably time, at least for right now. It always changes, but I think you got to. I think you got to avoid this right now. I think you got to avoid this. It's just not in the right section of the market. It's just not in the right section of the market. I'm talking about the right section of the market. Let's see if I can. Let's take a look. Kind of look at the sectors here to see kind of where it's going to work the best. So I'm trying to get. So hopefully, come. Oh, that didn't. Okay. All right. So can we get. Whew. All right. So hopefully, we get to the sectors of the market here. There we go. All right. This is going to be kind of small type, so I apologize for that. So let's go up to the top and take a look, kind of see which sectors are continuing to do the best and which ones are not. And with the industry groups here, let's see. All right, so I'm going to sort these basically by what's good now, and there we go. Okay, so the best one, the number one group in the stock market right now, and I'm gonna zoom in on this a little bit because it's just impossible to see it. It is right now is coal. Can you believe that? It's coal. That's the one. That's the number one group. Let's go down one. There we go. Coal is our number one group. Well, I got to get down one more. There we go. All right. So our number one group right now in the market is coal. So oil and gas is number two, finance is number three, and Canadian oil and gas. So as you notice, all of these are still dominated by the top groups are still dominated by oil and shipping, but not air shipping, shipping. Now I still have Matson, and I'm going to show you the stocks that are in this group. Zim is at number one. Now Zim has been pulling back, so I wouldn't recommend Zim. But I'm in Matson right now, and I still think it's pretty good. By the way, GOGL, this is not Google, it's Golden Ocean. So that's kind of a misnomer. Let's look at Matson. This is one I do have. Of course, I like to look at the ones I got. And I basically bought it as it reversed. So basically, that was the reversal line. I bought it as it reversed. It's pulled back down. I may be selling this one because it's likely to come back down to the 10-day line and then move higher. So I may have given up. I'm telling you some things that I do myself all the time. I may have given up some of my profit on this. I'm still in profitable position on this one, but I may have given up some of this. So let's see if I think let me just look to see where I put this. Well, I don't see. I don't know if I can. It's not letting me. I've got to zoom out here a little bit. Let's do that. What I'm doing here is I'm adjusting it for the notes that I have on it, so you can see the notes and see where I bought and sold. So I'm going to put this in. Yeah. Okay. There we go. There we go. All right. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit on. Yeah. I'm going to zoom in a little bit on Matson, MATX. Oh, all right. Now, zoom in. So as you can see, I've done this a few times where I've come in and I've come in, bought, and then sold, and then that's kind of what I'm doing here. I kind of came in, I bought at 87, so I'm a little bit underwater here. Hopefully we'll get some strength here. I may be selling this one into strength, depending on how it goes. So that's kind of my shipping as a group is one of the strongest groups. Is one of the strongest groups that we're in currently. All right, so let's take a look at some of the TikTok people. Thank you for following me, by the way. Thank you very, very much for following me. Let's see. Follow, follow, follow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So let's see. Oh, W&T waste management. Okay, that's an interesting one. I haven't seen a question on waste management in a very, very long time. Good company based in Houston. Um, and let's see if we can. Let's see if I can give you a good look see on waste management. WMT. Okay, go. WMT waste management. No, I'm sorry. What am I saying? Waste management. Walmart. Walmart. Like a lot of the retailers, they seem to because of the. I guess it's because of the supply chain issues that we're having. It's definitely moving below that 200-day line. So I would be very careful in buying Walmart at this level. It looks like it pulled right up to the 200-day line and it's pulled back. I am currently not in any of the retail stocks. I did have Macy's, but I sold that into strength. So right now, I couldn't recommend Walmart. Just not the place to be right now in the market. So, kind of as a wrap up, I want to show you one stock that is looking very good, and a number of the people talked about this one today, and that is AMD. And AMD has made a very nice move, and so I'm gonna hopefully I'll get AMD up there. This is the AMD chart. There we go. This is one you want to be kind of concentrating on, possibly. This is viable right now today, AMD, and I probably will be buying it. It's what they call a double bottom pattern, and it's looking very, very good. So I don't want to be totally negative Nelly here, but this is one you want to be constantly looking at. AMD. This is also good for spreads. If you're looking for spreads, maybe about the 105 call might be good. 107 call just as market indicated. So I do like AMD right now. That's one you might want to concentrate on. Another one are some of anything in the oil and gas group. I think let's look at Denbury. I want to look at the chart for Denbury Resources. Yeah, this one is starting to move higher as well, and I think this one might be something that you could get into. It made a nice reversal off the 40-day line. It's in an extremely good group. It's the second best group in the market. This is one I think you could possibly look at right now. Denbury Resources. It's basically even after hours, but it was up about 4%. I do think that we're going to see some strength in this one. The relative strength line is doing very well, 98. So this one you want to put on your list too. Denbury Resources. This is a little bit of an early entry here. It's definitely a little bit of an early entry because the buy point's 81, but it looks like these are ascending here. You can see 73, 75, 77. So I do believe we're going to probably get the next bounce will probably be from here about 73 on up to about 79. That's kind of where I'm looking. So I do think this is one you might want to consider if you're looking for things. So basically those two, AMD and Denbury, looking very, very good. So let's take a look at Stitch Fix. Okay. Starbucks. That's interesting. Okay, let's look at Starbucks. SBUX. And Starbucks is pulling back. So kind of like McDonald's. By the way, they're usually located together. This one is pulling down. Did get a little bit of support at the 200-day line. So basically, I would not recommend this one right now. I think what you got to do with this one is, I think you just got to watch list this one. So I would be a watch list for Starbucks on this one. I'd be a watch list. I would be a watch list for Starbucks. Let's take a look at ZG. That's Zelo, I believe. ZG, is that right? Yeah, Zelo Group. Another one. The problem that Zelo has had, I believe, is that Zelo used to be a data analytics company, but they got into the house flipping business, which I think is very tough right now because the market is very high for a lot of properties. Not a good flip market right now, And I just don't think they've changed their business model, and I don't think this. I don't people are liking it. It's been in a retreat. It's below the 200-day line. It's below the 40-day line, below the 21-day line, and right at the 10-day line. So I would avoid this one. Uh, I would be avoiding. Uh, I'd be avoiding Zila. I'd avoiding Zila at this point. I just would. I think it's not. Unfortunately, it's not. It's not where you want to buy. So I don't think Zelo is a good buy right now. I think it's in decline. I think it's the chart kind of tells the story. So I don't think it's a good buy. What I would do right now is I would just avoid it. So I'd be avoiding Zelo right now as we speak. So that's kind of my take on it, just based on that. Okay. Um, oh, hey, by the way, and I just want to put that out for everyone. Yeah. Um, so definitely, if you want to put out your email, I can put it out there for everyone, Mark. Thank you very much. Let's see. Da, 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 da. Oh, interesting. Thanks, Mark. LC just acquired an investment division. Oh, the last 2 months. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Maybe that's why I'm liking that stock. Maybe that's why I'm liking that. All right, let's take a look at Stitch Fix. SFIX. Stitch Fix. SFIX. I haven't tried these guys yet. I definitely need some help on the fashion scene. I'm not. I'm not that great in the fashion area. I need to be better. I wish I was. Not looking good, unfortunately. We have they've been doing a lot of ads on television. Well, not on the internet, I guess, because I don't really watch television anymore. But we have a downward trend on that. So I just think, with a relative strength of 7, I just think you got to avoid it. I don't like buying stocks. I don't like catching falling knives. I've made this mistake too many times. But I think you got to avoid Stitch Fix for right now. I just don't think it's looking very good. Not a good chart. Not a good chart on that one. Okay. Let's look at thoughts on JP Morgan. The biggest problem that I have right now with some of the money center bikes is the fact that of the China exposure. I'm just a little afraid of it. I really am. And yes, it did. Yeah, it pulled back. Okay, no surprise. No surprise for me there. Look, look at that. Lots. Okay, the earnings came out. Look at that, and we got a lot of selling. So the selling is going up. The price is going down. It's a falling knife right now. So right now, I would be careful and just never a good time. It's never a good time to catch a falling knife. So I don't catch a falling knife on this one. JP Morgan, at least for right now, it does not look good. It's looked like it's going down a little bit, up a little bit after hours, but there are things called dead cat bounces too. So with JP Morgan, I think it's a falling knife. I think you got to be super careful. Well, I think I got one more last question. Yeah, thank you. What are your thoughts on Tesla? I did talk a little bit about Tesla, but let's go to Tesla. Probably our last stock today is Tesla, TSLA, and I'm liking the action on Tesla. I'll be honest with you, I am liking the action on Tesla. Look, here's my marked up chart. I did have a bull call spread on. I did close it here. I'm probably gonna get it into another one. I made a nice profit on this bull call spread. I think you're going to see Tesla move, right up to the $900 mark. It's looking like it's bottomed. It looks like the overhead supply is gone, and I think in the next about month or so we're going to see it move, much closer to 900. So I think we're 860 range maybe. Next 4 or 5 weeks, just depending on the overall market. But I do think that Tesla is moving higher. This is a good time to possibly get into it because we're beyond this key 780 high level here. So I do think I'm bullish on Tesla right now. At least from here into about 900 a share. So That's good. And yeah, okay. Well, thank you, everybody. Thanks so much. Oh, thanks for looking to add more TTCF. Let's look at TTCF, and that'll be it for tonight. All right, TTCF, Tattooed Chef. You know, I probably wouldn't be in this one. It's below that 200-day line. I just think that it's been up here at 28. It's got a downward trend, so I would avoid this for now. That would be my. I mean, it's got a cool name, but I think the company has a cool name, but I think it's best to avoid this Tattooed Chef right now. Okay, well, thank you everybody for watching the show today. By the way, if you want to get on the action trailer, it's super duper easy to do. All you have to do is go to www.dellstrading4.com and you'll be signed up. And hopefully, either tonight or tomorrow night, I'm going to get out with the ready list so everyone will have a look-see at that. And this is a good place to look for stocks that are ready to move. We're currently in a correction, so you want to keep in mostly in cash right now. This is a tough market to trade. You want to be I would say 50% in cash, but we want to get ready because as we come out of this, there'll be some great opportunities. A lot of stocks that are setting up now very, very nicely, but we got to be careful because the market is in a correction right now. We don't like to buy in a correction typically because it's when we're in a correction, more stocks are going to retreat than move higher. So be very, very careful right now. Stay about 50% in cash, maybe even a little bit more, and be very careful with your entries. But I will be back tomorrow at 3:30. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And by the way, tell your friends. Tell your friends about the show so that we get more people. So and by the way, always smash that like button. Everyone tells you to do that. I'll tell you to do that. And I'll see you tomorrow at 3:30. Thanks, everybody.